Hey, this is Joshua with New Review, coming at you with a new review on this current season of Red vs. Blue, specifically the episodes Objects in Space, Griff Does a Rescue, and Quick Save. So quick recap, up to this point, the Reds and Blues have been living with a mirror image of themselves called the Blues and Reds. They've been trying to figure out what's going on, and we finally have some interesting things going on. The Reds and Blues were captured and put in jail by the Blues and Reds, and Sarge has switched sides, and the head of Lopez the Heavy is on its way trying to get help. And that was the last we saw of them, and I speculated that it was that Lopez's head was going to get help from Griff, and it kind of does. So, first episode out, Objects in Space. We start out with Lopez. He's doing a little monologue, like from Star Trek, which is very interesting and kind of funny, funny thing for him to do. So that was very nice. Shout out to a bit of nerd / geek culture. And then you notice he's going to a wormhole, and that could be the end of our heroes. Then he's suddenly saved by a mysterious benefactor, and the next thing we know is we're on the planet where Griff was, and apparently he's created like Wilson-esque balls with the heads of his former friends, and is going through day-to-day life as if those people are actually, there, and he's doing the voices. And apparently he's learned Spanish, which is a very interesting thing for Griff, because all of that is a lot of work, and knowing Griff, he hates work, so that was very interesting to watch him do. And as he's going about this, he hears a voice. He's a little scared. And then Locus appears. Locus was a mercenary from season 13, the Chorus trilogy, so seasons 11, 12, and 13. And obviously he kind of scared the crap out of Griff. And he apparently was the mysterious benefactor who got Lopez's head and brought him to Griff so that they could figure out what to do. And they decide, let's go save the Reds and Blues, which was very interesting because it seems that Locus has made a serious character change, going from being this like merciless killer to someone who's trying to help, which is a little weird. And it's kind of like, why is he specifically going through this trouble for the Reds and Blues? It was a very, very cool interaction that Griff and Locus have. Griff's still not entirely trusting him, and Locus being still a little standoffish, a little scary sounding. Which part of it is his own voice that comes with it. By the way, the guy who voices Locus is Gray Haddock, and Gray does a great job sounding like a menacing, merciless killer, even when he's now not a merciless killer. Then the following episode, we're at the blue and red base, and they find Griff, obviously, because he doesn't have camouflage. He's not really that good at stealth. He's not good at fitting into tight spaces because he's kind of fat. And so he's easily captured. And knowing what I knew he was doing a distraction, but everyone in universe obviously didn't, because they don't have the knowledge that the viewer has. So everyone in the cells who isn't Sarge, they start berating him, start yelling at him, start calling him names because he abandoned them. He didn't really come to help them, and then when he did, he got his ass captured. Until he says that he was supposed to. It was a distraction. And next thing we see is Locus freeing Wash and Carolina, who had been frozen by Temple, which was his form of revenge because he collected as many freelancers as he could find, froze them in their body armor to watch them slowly starve to death. Thankfully, Locust got to Wash and Carolina in time, so now they are not going to die in a very, very gruesome, unappealing manner, which is always good. And those two very important character development episodes. It's very interesting to see Griff kind of see the end of a breakdown of Griff, seeing him being alone, something that he thought he always wanted, but it appears that he's not really someone who can be alone, someone who can handle being isolated from people he's known for years. And it was really good to see him notice that. It was also interesting to see Locust become a much more sympathetic and more merciful character. And it was interesting watching Wash and Carolina try to keep each other alive. Mostly Carolina keeping Wash alive. And then we get to the most recent episode, Quick Save. They're getting ready to escape. Locust freed them. He's kind of annoyed with Griff. Sarge also decides to help them. He was about to execute the reporters. Then he kills the guy who's with him, helps them escape, and again, it was classic RvB, with Sarge being who's going to be in charge, and it was also a nice moment with him apologizing because he needed something to fight, because that's all of his identity. That's all he is someone who needs something to fight, which kind of makes sense, because the Blues and Reds were about to fight the UNSC, and I don't think, for all intents and purposes, Sarge could be fighting all sorts of. He could fight a meteor because it's going to because it's a threat to the place he lives. He would literally fight anything just to satisfy his need, much like we saw at the beginning when we first met up with the Reds and Blues after them being disappeared. He'd started fighting gravity. He's just someone who needs something to fight, something to call an enemy. And that led him to betray his friends, and he does appear very apologetic. He'll need to earn their trust back, of course, but he's on his way. And at the end, there's this massive gun battle. Locust isn't killing anyone. Everyone else obviously is. Donut's surprisingly quiet, and Wash is still kind of delirious from being frozen and not getting food or water for a few days. And then he seemingly gets killed. And that's like this slow motion moment, which makes a lot of sense because we've known this character since season 6. We followed this character, we've seen him go from good guy to bad guy back, and it's just something you don't expect to happen with someone who's such an established character. So I am on a cliffhanger and I don't like that, but I'm going to go with it. Check out Red vs. Blue on Rooster Teeth on YouTube. This is Joshua with New Reviews signing off.